you can always be wrong. The matter of your training or experience, you can always be wrong with something new or anything really. Then you have to respect the other person's opinion. In order to have like a real working relationship, you have to like really actually respect each other and just take a step back and be like, okay, I could be wrong here. So why don't we try it and see? I think also just like having real metrics that you can look at. Welcome back to Select Best. I'm your host, Michael Chang. I have my co-host here today, Elizabeth. Hello.
Hey, how are you?
All right, we're here in a podcast studio in Taipei. We just recorded an episode talking about the why we're here, how impactful it's been for us. So, if you want to hear that, that's in a prior episode. So go back and you can find it. This is the continuation, kind of part 2 of that, is how we work together as a married couple. We've been married now since 2017?
Yeah, almost 8 years.
8 years. 8 years married. We started a business before, so December 2016. It's been almost 9 years of working together. We started really working on this full-time together like 2019, like full-time.
19, 20.
Yeah, summer of 19.
Yeah.
So it's been 6-7 years. So how have we not killed each other?
That's $1 million question.
It's because of my patience.
You do have a lot of patience.
Thank you. Wow, okay.
Yeah. But I think in the beginning, there were definitely some rough patches.
Like what? Wait a minute, like what?
We're still learning about the business. I think in the beginning, we were building the Airbnb business. There weren't a lot of technology there to really help you, or at least we didn't know. So a lot of things are manual. So I think we oftentimes get into conflicts out of how to resolve guest issues.
Okay, yeah, I think that's a really good part
Yeah.
the first thing, because that was a big part, was dealing with guests.
Yes.
So before, when we had a few properties, like we were managing the customer service, and like it was terrible. Because one, it was like a lot of work. This is before AI. Now AI just does everything in our staff. But it was me and Liz before, so you had to constantly be glued to your phone, and we had very different ways of resolving stuff, right? So what was your way generally of resolving things with guests?
I think I take it to a very personal level, and then sometimes I just get too passionate about it, and then it impact my personal life a little bit. So I think that
and my personal life a little bit.
Yes, and that translates to your personal life, of course. We're married together. So that oftentimes, and you have a different way of dealing with guest issues. So I think that oftentimes become a conflict that we need to resolve.
Yeah, I think taking it personally is not my preferred approach. I look at it as a business. We want a product experience, but we also are running a business, and if we don't make money from the business, then there's really no reason in doing it. This isn't, altruistic or a volunteer effort. So I had a way of kind of dealing with it where it didn't bother me personally, and if I didn't think it was a valid issue, then I candidly was okay with people being upset with me. I didn't really care. Maybe it's the investment banking part, it just didn't bother.
Which is right. I mean, we still stay professional, and then we see the fact and really kind of remove the in this business, I learned you do have to remove that emotional, very personal part. Otherwise, you will have a very hard time, because guest issues around the clock, especially you have a portfolio of multiple property, it's just really hard to deal with.
Something always happens. Something always happens.
It's hard to please every single person. So we learned that early on. So that was one of the things when we first started business.
It's literally impossible. There are like 40 different groups of people within our portfolio right now. And then call an average of like 6 people per, there are 240 people. Like 240, you cannot make 240 people happy.
100%.
It's just not possible. And then I think that was a big part. It was a lot of conflict between me and you on that. I think ultimately, I was right there, right? Because not that I was right on every single part, but I think strategically I was right. And I've been wrong on a lot of other things. The solution was Mike and Liz are not customer service agents.
Yes. I think that was a realization. It's none of us like doing it. And I think in this business, it's
Hated it.
I know. We kind of learn early on, it's like, that's not our genius zone. And I think in this business, it kind of trains you to look at all the different aspects of this business. You need to understand about real estate. You need to understand about customer service. You need to understand hospitality business. It's a completely two different business.
Because once we solved it, I think you and I, the working relationship got a lot better. And I think it also was like, okay, let's grow this business. Because like, I didn't want to, it was like, if this is how it's going to be with a couple of properties, like we're going to kill each other. There's no way there's no way we can grow this business because this is too big of a pain point.
Yeah.
So how do we
Every
ultimately
day
solve it?
we were just so deep down into this guest
We fought about it all the time.
communication, guest communication issues. Not even issues, just like the guest communication part is a big part of this business. I think eventually it's like we have to hire someone to do this instead of us. Someone who is better and smarter on this specific task.
And you found, well, we had a really terrible hire, Sierra, who like bailed on us. And then you found Mark.
Yes, Mark, he is such a great talent.
Mark was the first good VA that we hired, and he really opened my eyes, like how great talent was. He was the best. Well, the second best. Bill's our best. Bill, if
Yes.
you're listening to this, we love you.
You even compliment him like he's just as good as your analyst.
Dude, he's
at
better.
banking job or better.
Better. Yeah. There's really great talent there. Mark was a big part of like us growing the business because once we had him in place, like we could offload all the things that we didn't like about the business because he was good at it. He had a much more higher EQ. He could like absorb all that a lot better while we can just grow and expanding. So I think that was like one huge pain point in the beginning. That was one huge pain point in the beginning that we were able to solve with technology, right? One, just getting on a PMS system. Remember the early one that we had? It wasn't perfect, but it was way better than just managing on our phone. And two was, hiring someone on Upwork. Even though the first one was a failure, that we didn't, quit. We actually continued to, okay, Sierra sucked. Let's find. I actually still have her contact info. It comes up sometimes. I think she's on an old Slack channels, and I was like, oh shoot, I can't believe she's on here. Anyways, and then we hired and we found a great person, and that was like a huge catalyst. And now we have people almost all over the world. The second part I want to talk about is like where like you were right and I was wrong, and there's been plenty of those because it was a big part of growth, right? It was how we managed the units or like growth. I don't know. You can talk about that. I think that was your genius zone.
Yes. So, well, let's talk about in the beginning in the business. I think I said let's rent entire apartment.
Yeah.
You're like, no. We need to squeeze out as much as possible from this unit.
Yeah.
So the best way to do is rent by bedroom. So we will chop up an apartment into 3 to 4 different units and rent it one by one. That was such a nightmare. Not nightmare, but just so many logistics to handle. And in the end, we realized we actually make more money just rent out entire unit hosting larger group. You have a better experience as host, better experience as a guest. Imagine the guests have to deal with each other inside the small apartment as well. So I think that was one part of eye-opener for us too. You rather focus on a higher quality accommodation that hosts more people at the same time rather than a budget traveler individual groups.
Huge.
That was a huge eye-opener.
Yeah, it was a huge unlock. Sorry. Yeah, it was a huge unlock. That was, that's where like I think when you're too focused on the metrics, the percent return, all that stuff, versus losing your eye on the ball and strategically, like how do you actually grow and scale the business? I was totally wrong on that. And when you were right to call me out on it, and also just like continue to drive the point home, like this isn't going to scale. We did end up making like probably like a slightly more money, like chopping it up, but this operation was so intense.
It was really intense.
There's so many different check-ins and check-outs. Within an apartment, you had to get someone to come in and clean the common areas. There'd be conflicts about that. You have to manage that. And ultimately, you're right. And, I think you're right to like especially on the high seasons, you're able to rent a larger apartment the whole apartment for a lot more. So yeah, I totally was wrong. I totally was wrong
And then
there.
I think the thesis that we always have is like with larger accommodation, you can hit multiple wallets, multiple families at the same time, and oftentimes they are willing to pay that little premium for the comfort that you provide. So I think by shifting our mindset from creating a budget accommodation to a more quality accommodation really help us kind of scale our portfolio in a much more sustainable way.
Right.
Yeah.
But I think back to me and you, right? Just from a working perspective, I think that's where like before the whole, customer service thing, that was like, that was like later on. I think one, having the humility of like, you can be wrong. I don't think I was that person back in 2017. Like I was like, hey, I went to the Ivy League investment banker. Like, I know more about this finance stuff. Like, you should listen to me. I definitely was a lot of that. I think one, like, you're different now too. Like, I think you push back, because obviously, like, you've had success. You've been right a lot. And I'm like, I've been, I think right and not wrong a lot too. I think one, recognizing where you're strong. I think also just like respecting your partner while you may think you're right. I think you have to just kind of like, well, I think for me, I just like know that you can always be wrong. No matter your training or experience, you can always be wrong with something new or anything really. Then you have to respect the other person's opinion in order to have like a real working relationship. You have to like really actually respect each other and just take a step back and be like, okay, I could be wrong here. So why don't we try it and see? I think also just like having real metrics that you can look at and to judge decisions. I think that's just a big thing too, right? Like, how do you define? Like, I think defining what's right or wrong too is important. Because we're looking like, okay, like what makes more money? Like what makes more money? And I was like a pretty easy metric to both agree on. Okay, well, my way makes this much money. Your way makes this much money. Which one makes more money and which one takes less work? And then it was very clear very early on that you were right. I was like, okay, like totally wrong here. Okay, we got to let's shift on this.
Yeah, and I think through all this iteration, we each kind of found what we are good at, best at, and what we both don't like to do or not good at, and we kind of just like offload those by hiring great talent. That really helped us to find how to work with each other.
Okay, let's play a game. Okay. Oh, this would be a fun one. And none of this is scripted, by the way.
What kind of game?
Let's play a game. Okay.
Now I'm nervous.
Okay. We each talk about what the other person is good at and bad at. You can start.
Or you're good at.
Or what I'm bad at, you can, however you want to start it. What am I good at? What am I bad at? After 9 years of working together, 8 years married, 2 kids, 2 businesses.
I think you're...
Long fun.
Well, let's start from the good one. I think you're good at seeing a pain point and you're like, I need to get rid of this right away. How do I build process, hire the right person? I need to get rid of this as soon as possible remove it from my time. It's taking too much of my own time. You're good at that.
I hate wasting time. I hate doing things I don't want to do.
And what you're not good at.
Dun, dun, dun.
Dun, dun, dun. I think it's I gotta be careful here. It's all airing out later. I think if I put you into my seat to design a guest experience, you probably would look at me with 5 different heads. You wouldn't know how to start. So a lot of times,
I would hire it out.
You will hire it out, exactly. And I think a lot of time, early day, that's where our differences comes in too. We will argue about how we want to design guest experience.
Over the budget.
Or that comes to budget. You want a better guest experience, meaning more budget. But what's that boundary and fine line is really important, right? So we fought a lot in the beginning on that. But now I think we finally found the common ground that's my department, and I would respect your budget, and then find a happy medium. Yeah. And I wouldn't blow up the budget to do something crazy, but now we kind of understand what each other's boundaries. Yeah,
look, I mean, okay, I'm glad you brought it up, right? Because I think this is where like the financial discipline does come into play, right? And I think you were proven definitely right. Your approach I think works a lot better in the stuff that we own, right? The last house that we bought, we spent $20,000 on the virtual design. Like you can like a couple of years ago, you could not like gun to my head make me do that. I was like, I'm not spending 20 grand for someone to deliver a spreadsheet and a PowerPoint. Like we can do it. But
Yes.
no, that's wrong. Actually, like you really want professional design because I've seen returns now. When arbitrage apartments, like when we went kind of over budget and on like the other one, like I don't know, like it blew up to like 13 grand. That's a lot. I know it was a little. I mean, it's like 10, 11. I thought that was a little high.
It was a little high.
I thought that was like
There's
why are
something called
we?
the inflation?
Yeah, but I don't like why. That's like 20% above budget. I mean, I thought that was unnecessary.
Keep going. So that's the not good part.
No. But I mean, my point. Look, my point being is, look, I'm not a design person. I would be terrible at it. And so I hired out or give it to look, you're a lot better at it than me. But I think this is where the two genius zones kind of come into play, right? Like I do respect, like you do really a great job. It looks beautiful and always gets booked out because has a great experience. But I think there needs to be like a financial control part of it. And like there's that tension. I think in a way it's actually good because, it can't be like like it shouldn't be like a hard set number where it's like, okay, you can't pass that. Because sometimes like you do need flexibility, inflation, whatever it is, right? But also like you need someone to kind of hold that line and like hold that accountable. Like, hey, do we actually really need this? Do we need organic shampoo?
That was 2017. Yes.
Okay. But
Didn't need that.
didn't need that, right?
Yes,
Okay.
didn't need that.
Okay. I guess my turn, right? What are you good and bad at? Right. So, but you can't get mad though, right?
We'll see.
You can't get mad.
Let's test my EQ.
I think where you really over-index is your ability to find great real estate opportunities. Like I'm consistently surprised and amazed. Like I am good with numbers and I can see stuff, right? But Liz I think you have you have just like superpower that like I don't think is like trainable or like you can see a property and see like the potential of it like really quickly where others don't see it. And I think you saw that in the arbitrage in Philadelphia where you saw those opportunities, the properties that we bought, the stuff that we should have bought years before that you told me to buy and I didn't buy because I was too hard-headed. Sorry, I know it'd be closer to retirement if I listened to you. But yeah, I think I really respect that about you, like, because I think it's actually a very, very difficult skill to replicate, having like the eye, right? Because I think that's a lot of, like, it's like a financial part, but it's also just like a style part. And it's like, I think a love of the asset part. I think you love the real estate. Like, I don't love real estate in the way that you do. I love it because it works from a business perspective, like the leverage, the taxes, depreciation, all that. Like, I love that. Like, a house is a house. Like, I don't really care.
Yeah.
But I think you see it in that way that I don't. And I think that's the special sauce that you have.
Yeah, I thank you, first of all. Yeah, I do think that's why we also compliment on each other on that specific point. A lot of people are surprised when Mike said, I actually don't love real estate. When Mike said that, most people are kind of shocked. So I was like, oh, I thought that's why you do what you do. But
I love business.
he really just loved the business part of it. How do I design processes, SOP to make this work and make money and make sure it's a profitable business and support what we want to achieve, right? And then from my end, I really think real estate is since 2015, 16, I knew real estate is something I want to get into. I didn't really know how. So I was just attending real estate meetup every single week, try to get some knowledge under my belt. And I think that really helped to bring this out. So looking at Zillow, looking at listings, talking to broker has always been one of my biggest passion, because I could see a listing the second it's listed, even it's just photos, I could envision what it could become or look like. So my downtime at night, sometimes just like looking at properties. I said, literally on my phone, I like this property, I don't like this property.
Yeah, like when you're like shopping.
Yeah, so I remember when I brought to you, I think 2017 or maybe 18, it was like, let's go to the Smoky and buy some properties. That was a really hard one to win. That's why we started arbitrage. But eventually
Yeah,
you finally turn around.
I mean, those
2020.
properties are like 300K, you know, we ended up buying them for like 600K and now they're worth 900K. Yeah. So yeah, definitely my bad on that one. And then it's a little bit of being too proud. I think one on my side where it's like, hey, I'm the finance guy. I'm the one that should be able to see the numbers, not you. I think there was definitely an ego part of there, which, you know, it does take time to get through. And I definitely recognize that. And I think ego is good in a way. Like, you know, it is good, right? You need ego to push yourself forward and have self-confidence and believe in yourself. When things go wrong, like you have the agency that like, hey, I can fix it. And you know, that does come down to ego, but I also, you know, like a self-awareness too. I think self-awareness actually is the right way to say it. It's like, you can be wrong. And like, you have to actually like, just take a step back and like, listen to the other person and respect them. And like, you know, just like, hey, like I think having the humility that you're wrong is huge, but at least we did buy it. And
we did.
Successful and saved a lot of taxes and made a lot of money. So it's okay to be wrong. It's not okay to remain wrong.
Yeah, that makes sense. But also like being able to recognize that a lot of time.
Took 10 years. It's the old Chinese man syndrome.
Can you explain that? I don't think everyone understands what's the old Chinese man syndrome.
Oh, you just look at your parents. Look at my dad. I don't know. It's a real thing. I just coined it. It's just basically like old Chinese man. It just means like
Stubborn.
they're very stubborn. They're set in their ways. They won't listen to anyone else. It's just like my way. I'm the head of the family. It's my way or the highway. There's no room for dissent. And there's that feature in our culture. And I think that's really not good because the world is changing really quickly.
Yes.
And you push away your spouse, your family, people around you because you're so rigid that you won't listen. And some people are like, well, why even share anything with you? Because you'll just say no or you poo-poo their idea. So, you know, it's very self-isolating. And then people just kind of tell you what you want to hear. And then you're just echo chamber and you never learn and you're just stuck in whatever, you know, wherever you peaked or, you know, wherever you were in your career, you never learned. And, you know, I think especially now in the age of AI and everything, you know, I think what's been the biggest thing for me is just the biggest mindset shift for me, or one of the biggest one is I go in every situation like I don't know anything. I know nothing. I don't care about a person's background. Just like I'm just going to ask questions and keep an open mind. You know, obviously I have the way that I think and my experience, but I just try to keep open mind and just absorb the information and be open to new possibilities. It's going to be open that I'm wrong. That has been like a huge part of my personal growth. And I think for my growth, I'm making money actually too, because I see opportunities that like previously I would have just said no to, reflexively said no to, just because like didn't fit that little box I had built in my head.
Yeah, the constraint we have in our own mind.
That's the biggest thing.
Yeah, it's huge. And I think that kind of goes back to, for example, the media business. Maybe tell the story about that. How do we even start this?
Oh, Jesus.
That's a part.
Wait, but we didn't hit on your weakness.
What I'm good at and my weakness.
Your weakness.
Please go ahead.
This is a minefield. Do I want to remain married? Do I want to sleep in the bed tonight or on the floor or Motel 6?
Sounds like a very long speech you're gonna have.
No, it's not. No, because I feel like a lot of it we've actually like touched on. Like I feel like I don't know if you've like gotten better at it, but I think now I think we're just smart enough where it's like if we're not good at something, let's just find someone else that's better. I think you will be more effective. You still have the thing about like I want to get everything right to the nth degree, where you dive just too deep on the topic or one task to the detriment of like the list of things that like you need to do. And then you run out of time and then you get mad at me for being like, hey, why isn't this done? And then you're like, well, I was working on this. I was like, well, you can't work on this for 4 hours. Like this is a 20-minute task. So I do think actually that is a part where I think as a business owner, like there's no one to tell you how to manage your time. Time management is absolutely critical. You don't have forever to do something.
That's true.
You have to have a list. I have a list on my phone, like list of things that you need to do and knock it out. And sometimes it's just the 80% answer is the right answer. You just move on because you just can't get to the 100% answer. It just takes you too long and you just to the detriment of everything else that you need to do.
That's true. And I admit that because I sometimes just like want everything to be perfect. And
Do you think that's like a woman thing? Do you think a girl thing?
I don't think so. Some guys are just like that. I don't think it's like a gender thing. It's just innately
But you think like girl, cause I think women sometimes is like they feel like they have to be
More
like
detail.
perfect. Yeah, they have to be perfect because I don't know, maybe it's a societal thing. I don't feel like guys aren't as like, I don't know.
I don't think so. I think
Okay,
just like
all right.
myself, I hold myself to that standard. But like you said, I definitely recognize as a business owner, your time is so limited and you really got to follow that 80-20 rule. Otherwise, your day just get wiped out.
You can spend you can spend in
hours to
one thing.
perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah, that I would say it's a very, very good one because I recognize that too.
Yeah, and I think as we talk about on the different various businesses that we're growing, right? Like we have our real estate business that we started, right? We have 33 apartments in Philadelphia that we rent and then we sublease on Airbnb with the landlord's permission, called Airbnb arbitrage. We're taking those profits. We own 8 properties actually right now, 7 short-term rentals, 6 in Tennessee, 1 in New York, and then we have 1 long-term rental in Philadelphia, the first property we bought. And then we've built this media business now. You're listening to STR Like the Best, our podcast, started about 2 years ago. I think we're on episode like 60-ish, something.
Around 60.
We have the Michael Chang B&B Instagram account, which, around like 95,000 followers. You have your Liz Chang page account. You just hit 10K today. Congratulations.
Yes, it's today. And started probably 3 months ago.
3 months ago?
Yeah, just right before we leave for Taiwan.
We have our STR Like the Best page, which is our mentorship program. So, that's on Instagram, a couple hundred followers there, but that's really more of kind of the program, the testimonials, and then we have our YouTube channel and TikTok. Mm-hmm. But really, I think our time is really focused on the Instagram and our podcasts. Everything else is more distribution. And that is to tell our story about why we started, how we're helping others build their own portfolio, and in turn, for us, building our own network within short-term rental real estate, connecting with investors, helping investors buy their first property, run it at a high level, and save taxes.
Yes.
And that's what we've probably spent 90% of our time on. The other 10% is on the real estate business. Most of that is growing it, growing more arbitrage units and buying more properties. We aim to buy 1 or 2 properties a year. I think to your earlier point, and maybe this will be episode 3, we'll talk more about that, but about keeping an open mind. The way that I think actually not just what happened in Chicago, but you really pushing me to go to these conferences when I'm like, I don't want to go because I want to hang out with the kids. I'm too cheap to buy the ticket and I don't want to leave the kids and I don't want to travel.
I think I kind of remember that incident because I think I was postpartum maybe only a couple months.
Yeah,
so
this
I
was.
couldn't go, and then you're like, "Oh, I should stay home with the kids. I really want to spend time with them." But then
No, it was huge, right? No, now I remember. It was like 22.
I think it was 22.
You had just in Athena, so it was December when you had her. I went in February. Like, yeah, you were like definitely postpartum.
Yes.
Yeah, we were living in the last apartment too. Mm-hmm. So yeah, you were like, it was like a month or 2. Like she was so little, and you were still getting over.
Yeah.
I mean.
That's right. And then I was like,
I didn't want to leave.
This is one of the better conference that we know of in the short-term rental. And then I just remember every time we had some sort of big growth in our business, it's because the network and people that we've met in the conference vividly every single time.
It's true.
How to build system, how to hire VA, how to
A lot of little tricks too.
Little tricks and things you only hear when you're in the circle.
It's true.
So that network has been so powerful for us. So I was like, Mike, you just gotta show up, even just for a night. Even you want to do one day and just come back, just go. And then you went, and that was one of the best decisions that
we've ever made.
We have made, yeah.
It was really life-changing because that was the genesis of us starting the Instagram account, being able to publicly talk about our story and the podcast. And without that, we wouldn't be here. in this podcast studio in Taipei talking about, we wouldn't be here in Taipei because we wouldn't have had grown the business so that we have the flexibility to leave. So maybe I think that would be the third part of this series. We've already talked for like 30 minutes now. So now you know our mutual assessment of each other. I think you're spot on with, you know, where I'm strong at and where I need to continue to work on. I think having an open dialogue with your spouse is actually pretty important. And I think I actually want to end the episode with like, do you think it's made us better parents? Like not father and mother to Athena and Jackson, but just being better parents.
Yeah, I do think so. I think not only better parents, and I think better couples together too, better married couples. We are not forced, but we are, how do you say it? You have to communicate every single day. It kind of force you to do that by working together and having a family together. We're basically together 24/7. There's very little privacy. So sometimes it's hard to separate that personal and business as much as we try. It still kind of all blends in together. And I think I kind of made peace with it because it is our life. And when you're working on something that's like you really enjoy, that kind of all blends in together.
Well, it's going to be successful. I think if it was unsuccessful, it'd be a lot more stressful.
That would be a different conversation.
Stressful in marriage, yeah.
But I do think it helped us to be a better parents too. We just look at the world from a different lens, how we want to raise them, how entrepreneurship has opened our eyes, and we talk about that a lot, how you will shape their future too. So I do think that has a huge impact on our parenting.
Maybe that's like maybe that should do like I think it'd be a good separate episode actually. It's like how operating a business and like being the forefront of technology and people, the exposure to different people that we have now.
Yeah.
As colored, I think for me personally, like how I want to raise Jackson and Athena, because like I think if I was still in banking, it would be very much of the prior mindset, like really do really good in school, like you got to go to Ivy League, you got to get like just consulting or banking job, and like there's this like path that you have to take. I very much don't believe in that now. Like and I think it's a lot of it's colored by the business and kind of and I think it's so maybe that'll be like another episode in the series, but I think to end this episode here, like I think our marriage is so much better and stronger. I think one going through like the pain of starting a business together, you know, the pain of COVID, where like we're like, oh man, this might have all been for naught, and
that
like we're screwed.
Really hard.
Yeah, we're screwed. I think, you know, being able to battle together in a really tough time, and like just like, hey, we don't know if this is going to work, but like we're going to work together really hard to like try to figure this out.
Yeah.
I think one having a success in that actually figured out. Are you crying?
About to.
Don't cry. You're gonna ruin your makeup. No, but like going through that, and then I think coming out of that, and I mean, like, I think look, in the beginning it was like it was successful, but I don't think it was like, oh man, this is like a raging success. And it was like this is good. Like we see a path, and then it was like COVID. I was like, oh crap, like. We are
we gotta go
so
find
screwed.
jobs.
Yeah, like we're so screwed.
There's no jobs right now.
Yeah, there are no jobs. Like we're all stuck at home, and then kind of battling through it together before we had kids, like a couple years into marriage, and then seeing success and like being, I think that made that experience. I think one was like we can do hard things together. I think two is like. It'll take more than COVID to break up me and you.
True. And I think it's a lot of learning too. For me, it's like the biggest learning was you really got to battle. I had a big imposter syndrome, I think. I was like, oh, this is too hard. I'm too scared. I don't think we can do this. I had a lot of that. And I think through all this different times, that building up that confidence has really helped us grow or helped me grow as a business owner, individual, and even as a parent. Now how I teach them too.
I mean, I think it's a good point. I keep trying to end this episode, but keep more things going on. But I think your confidence actually, I think as like the person that has spent the most time with you over the last 10 years, I'm really proud of you on that. Like, the fact that like you're willing to come on camera, you're willing to talk on camera, that you're willing to teach students, like I don't think that was you like a few years ago. I don't think you could have done that. I think you had a very
I would be doing any of this like 2 years ago, I would be like, no way, I can't do this.
Yeah, I think for women, I think it's like, yeah, like just to do this today, you got to like put on your makeup and like, I think for me it was like, you know, brush my teeth, like wash my face, fix my hair. Like it takes me like 3 minutes to get ready, put on a shirt, and like I'm ready to go. Like for women, it's like, I think there's like societal expectation, like, you know, you got to like, you know.
Yeah.
And then it carries on, like everything has to be, and then at that point, everything has to be perfect.
True.
And I think there's just, in business, like there is no perfect. There is no perfect.
Yeah.
And like, you know more than 99% of the people, like your knowledge, like they're going to be better off learning from you versus some other, you know, joker on Instagram that doesn't actually know what they're doing. Like you actually know what you're doing.
That's true. But, and I also think like today, by just being here, kind of another breakthrough for me too.
Yeah.
It's like officially kind of in the podcast studio filming an episode with you together, because I've been doing most behind the scene, right?
This is your coming out party? This is your coming out episode?
No, it's not coming out, but more like doing things that's uncomfortable, but I know I should be doing, right? And I'm sure this episode is not perfect, but practice makes perfect. You just kind of
just gotta do it.
We'll do it better next one. You know, just keep going, keep pushing, and whatever it will become, I think it will surprise me, just like how we did for all the other business that we have built together.
Yeah. Without that, you got like you're just taking a step forward. If you can move forward every day, everything you do, just make forward progress. Like it all builds on each other. I think most people, their biggest part is they just never start because they're just like, oh, I got to be perfect, and then you don't do anything, and then you're stuck.
True.
All right. Well, look, this concludes the second part of the series. I don't know how long this will go. Maybe 3 or 4. Depends how much gas we have today or how hungry we get.
Yes.
But if you enjoyed this episode, thank you. Please leave a comment if you're listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. If you could leave a review, we would love that. It would help us, spread the message further. Along that vein, if you really liked this episode, please subscribe and please share with your spouse, a friend that you think would benefit from listening to me and Liz talk about our journey together. The next part of the series, we'll talk about how we've actually grown the social media business, the education business, and then hopefully, and I actually really want to talk about is, maybe the fourth part of the series is how building a business has colored our viewpoint of how to raise our kids. Actually, I didn't even think about that, but I actually would really love talking about that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Are you game?
Be a
you
10
game?
series, 10 series one.
All right. Thanks for listening, and I hope you enjoy the next part of the series. And lastly, there's another episode before this. Go check it out. I think you'll enjoy it. If you enjoy this, you probably enjoyed the first one.
Yeah.
All right. If you found this episode valuable, please make sure you hit the subscribe button so you can get notified when I put out new content on Airbnb investing. And if you want to learn about how to work with me more directly, I have links below on my description. Click on those and let's figure out how I can help you with your Airbnb investing journey.